Let's jump back into it, beginning now. And for those of you curious, this is our current state of the world. We got Dan, level 29, currently rocking the Sun Sword. That is going to be our best sword in the game until we reach the Masmune. I really don't need this Wizard Staff anymore now that Carry is down. I think we'll go with the Mage Staff, Thor Hammer, Rotated Heal Staff as needed, and Defense Sword going to be pretty useful on the bosses. For armor, I'm going with Pro Ring, Ice, Ribbon, Opal Bracelet. There's never going to be any more upgrades to this. The fighter cannot use Opal Armor, Dragon Mail, Opal Shield, or Aegis Shield, which are the only defensive improvements I could have. So this is going to be it for Dan's equipment here. Zeus Gauntlet I'm keeping just in case I need an extra source of lightning, but it probably will never get used. And Hyrule 1989, welcome in. You're just in time for a pretty hefty Agama grind. I'm not going to do it all in one go. We are going to break this up into smaller, bite-sized Agama chunks so that we are ready for action on that. Let me go ahead and drop a cabin down here because I need to burn one encounter off. Gets rid of the Argoyle at the start, who's otherwise annoying. And is this randomized? No, this is with a plain old copy of Final Fantasy on a plain old Nintendo. Well, it's kind of a newer Nintendo. It's the NES top loader, which was the Model 2 of the original NES system. But other than that, everything is as you remember it with the old square controllers. There is no fancy randomizer stuff here, and especially no conveniences to make things go faster. Is it normal for the cartridge to get hot after a while? I think it does get warm to the touch trees when you are playing games for a couple hours. I will usually notice like a little bit of warmth on the back of the cartridge, especially where the chips are going to be pointed out towards. And so that's totally acceptable and okay. It shouldn't be hot to the touch. Like, it should not burn you to touch the cartridge, but you should feel that it is warmer than the surrounding environment. Also, Avon Chaos, thank you very much for resubscribing there. You never realized how heavy CRTs are. It is, in fact, a pretty heavy piece of equipment. I do not like to move my CRT at all. But I am glad that you're helping out, and I am glad that you're excited for the continued support. So thank you very much for that. Why do I stand in the lava? Yes, the lava tiles are all safe squares. So you're going to take 1 damage to every person in the party, but it's going to guarantee that you have no encounters on those squares. And so as a result, we're going to get very, very few battles here in Gurgir Volcano overall. Makes it much faster to walk through here, and you actually take less damage from lava than you do from encounters a lot of the time when you're doing the fights. I don't know why I walked right past the Agama room. Let's go back up there. That's kind of what we are here for, is the Agamas after all. Hey there, Lightning Fart. If you have not seen the base game in a while, yes, you are in for something, because it is definitely a big adjusting factor. Now, luckily, I have kind of gotten the rhythm back rather quickly for menus and things. But just watching the animations for walking, or for a combat especially, it's amazing how much slower it is. Are there any differences from an actual cartridge to an NES and the NES Classic version? So the NES Classic is going to initialize the system memory differently, so you're not going to have the same RNG when you power the console on as you do when you boot up the NES Classic version of Final Fantasy. I've meant to sit down and figure out where it actually is in the encounter cycle so that people at least know what to do to adjust for it. But it'd be very difficult to imagine that any speedrunning techniques would work without very extensive modifications. Other than that, I believe it is the same. Like, I don't think that they fixed any bugs or changed any of the program code. It's just that they emulate an NES differently than real hardware. Awesome Mirage 89, happy Agama Day to you as well. For those of you that don't know, this is one of 37 International Agama Days that are celebrated throughout the year. And we're going to celebrate by hugging and possibly murdering as many Agamas as we can withstand. I think we will go probably up to level 40 here in the first grind. We're level 29 right now, about 14 Agamas per level up. We will eventually hit level 50, which is the maximum level, but I'm going to break it up into two pieces. So we'll do an Agama grind. I might kill Kraken in between this and the second Agama grind. Then we got Tiamat and Wormek to do, in either order that we want. I'm thinking about doing Tiamat first and then coming back for Wormek afterwards. That way, if we have a Wormek victory, I don't have to worry about walking out. I will definitely be able to make it through. I mean, with only one character, it's not like you're really going to be worried about the post-Wormek aftermath. You're either going to win and Dan is going to be alive, or you're not going to win and Dan is going to be joining his friends on the floor. Is today Vanilla Agama Day? We had a vanilla floater and Dan tried to eat it, so I've been avoiding the word vanilla since then. You also should not refer to anything as strawberry or chocolate, it causes the same reaction. Hey there Coach Day, welcome in, and Bozer Cup, welcome in as well. Hope you're both having a wonderful evening here, and are ready for some Agama excitement. Is today the festival of Saint Agama? It's a heavily disputed festival day. At least 11 nations claim that they own it. And what is our level target? Ghost Rock 3030 asks. So right now I'm going to go up to level 40 and do Kraken at that point. And then we'll go up to level 50, which is the maximum level in the game. I feel like it's fast enough to get the levels that rather than try to do Temple of Fiends at a lower level and potentially fail, you might as well just go to 50 right away. 14 Agamas per level up is roughly what I have calculated out, and that's on the order of, you know, like 2 or 3 minutes to get those. Less if you have Dan actually one-shotting the Agamas, which should happen somewhere in the 30s. Right now we're getting a lot of 2 shots, so it's more towards the 3-minute end. And Black Knight 39, thank you very much for resubscribing as well. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday here, and thanks again for the continued support. Dan is definitely our man of the adventure here. I was shocked that he had such a good time in Earth Cave and Ice Cave. He may have had some difficulties in Ordeals, Marsh Cave, and Astos, but we don't talk about those too much. Instead, we focus on the positives around here. And I am positive that Dan is going to be absolutely wonderful in the late game. Surprised I didn't finish this last night. I probably could have. I decided to extend it by also including Wormek in this. And originally I thought it was going to be a couple of nights for Fighter, but Fighter just was super easy. Much more so than I thought for the early and mid game. So it turns out that it's really about, 6 or 7 hours, even with the Wormek involvement, that really should be budgeted for it. Now that I know a better strategy for deals as well, that would have saved a bunch of time there. Marsh Cave and Astos I don't think would have gotten much better with additional levels, and so that just requires decently good luck in order to get through those. Dan has the full power of Melmond behind him. That is going to be extra smelly, but at least it is in the right direction. You don't want to be downwind of Melmond. If Melmond is in front of you, you are going in the wrong direction. What is the time difference between single fighter and 4 fighters? This is going to be probably about 2 hours difference, I think. Now that I kind of know a good strategy for the solo fighter. I would say 4 fighters could probably go down a little bit in time as well, but I haven't put a lot of thought into things I would change with that party. You imagine that you have, a marathon safe route, about 3.5 hours. Swapping the 2 red mages out for 2 fighters probably costs you no more than 30 minutes, compared to what the fastest times would be like. And swapping from 4 fighters down to 1 fighter, you'd think it would be really, really devastatingly harder, but that fighter is going to get levels much faster, and you really only use 1 or 2 fighters as your primary people anyway, in a lot of the game. So it was a lot less of a difference than I thought, except for things, and this is things I expected: paralysis, petrification, and single target like instant death, because those are things that are just always a problem. No fast makes a little bit of a difference. Temper doesn't actually work in the original version of Final Fantasy. So Temper, Saber, the Power Glove are all useless here. Fast, though, does help out quite a bit. But you can get about the same increase in damage from just a couple levels of grinding. And so less than 10 levels is a really huge improvement to your offense, and it gives you more defense and more hit points to work with. So those levels are big. I think you probably only even need 5 if you compare it to the 4 fighter route. When you've got multiple characters, getting 5 extra levels is probably about the same amount of work as 10 levels is for a solo character. I also thought about alternatives to the Agama grind. Unfortunately, the Ice Cave has too many bad monsters to do a grind on the eye. Even at relatively high levels, I think it would be very dangerous, as would be the Waterfall Trap Tile. You don't really have a good source of AoE damage. You've got the Cockatrice with Petrification, the Paralisk with the very rare chance of squinting through a ribbon, which would be a 3 in 256, but if you're fighting a lot of battles, you have to imagine that over the course of 40 battles, which is 100 Agamas worth of experience, and that's only about 7 levels or so, you're going to probably see 80 or so bird attacks. And so I think that you would have to be breaking it up into smaller pieces than you would for this grind. Now, you'd probably be getting the experience a little bit faster. You're getting 2.5 Agamas per fight, really 1.75 average Agamas per fight on the Waterfall Trap Tile. But I think this is still better for the safety aspects to it. You don't want to lose a huge amount of time from a grind because of one bad encounter. My optimized level ups when I hit 1,000 hit points. Yeah, you can hit 999 hit points with the fighter pretty easily. I'm likely to do it just based on the trajectory that I'm seeing. It's not guaranteed, I believe. I think the fighter gets somewhere in the 900s as their average amount for level 50 guaranteed. But you can certainly sculpt it. A couple of points of vitality early on would allow you to get up to 999. You don't even need to super optimize like a thief would. The thief has to be every level perfect to have a chance of reasonable success later on. And it's because they don't have as much HP. Their armor is... I guess their armor... Yeah, their armor is not quite as good, but it's pretty close. They would just swap out the ice shield for a pro cape. So they're losing, 4 defense there, which is not bad. But then they have way less damage output, because it's a fighter with a sun sword versus a thief with a rune sword. And a rune sword is pathetic. It's worse than a silver sword overall. And unless you completely get a strength level up every single time on that fighter, you're going to be nowhere close to the fighter's damage output. That's why Thief is so hard, is because every level up has to be perfect. You can't do sustained grinds. You have to be saving your game in between every single level in case you get a bad one. And yep, MDI, no Mazmune. We cannot get the Mazmune until we are at the end of the game because we have no travel spells. And that means it's a one-way trip into Temple of Fiends. I cannot grind there. I cannot get items or money or what have you out of Temple of Fiends. It is at the very end, we're going in, and there is no turning back once we step on that orb. Is that an Agama tongue, or are they just copiously drooling? Asks Glower Power. I would say that if you've ever been licked by an Agama, you know that they have these beautiful bright purple tongues. But it could be a little bit of both. I cannot conclusively rule out. There may be some Agama drool on the screen right now. Also, Just Johnny 420, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening here. We've got up 4 levels so far. You can see that Dan is starting to one-shot the Agamas pretty regularly. Don't have to worry about that additional round now that he's got 5 attacks per turn. He's almost at his cap. I think Sun Sword is going to cap at 6. Given that we've got 17 levels left, I don't think that's enough for another 64 accuracy score, but I could be wrong. Do Agamas make good pets? They make wonderful pets, but they are banned in all countries of the world. Sometimes more than once. Hey there, New Stu, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening here. Is this the same solo fighter run? Yes. So, as of right now, we are in the low 30s for our level. We've killed 2 of the fiends. So, Lich and Carry are dead. We're going to go up to level 40 here, kill Kraken, go to level 50, kill Tiamat, then we're going to kill Warmech, and then we're going to go after Chaos once Warmech has fallen. I think a Warmech kill should be relatively straightforward at level 50. But solo is always a bit of a rough spot, because you're very likely to be ambushed by Warmech at the start of the fight. He's gonna get a free hit or a free nuclear on you, and you don't have that many turns to take him out. So it's really gonna be what our damage output is like that is gonna determine how successful our Warmech opportunities will be. Our Agama's banned in Melmont. Everything is banned in Melmont, especially things that are fun. It's just that nobody in Melmont obeys any laws. Approximately 75 to 80 Agamas left for our target level here. And so I would say we're getting pretty close to the halfway point of this first grind. I feel like we've learned a lot about Agamas in the process. It has been a learning experience and an educational enjoyment. As always, here in the Gurgir Volcano area. Melmont must be like Gary, Indiana. Let's not be too crazy about Melmont. It has some standards, not many, but some. Hey there, Kenny Star, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday here. We have resumed our solo fighter challenge, and Dan is ready for action. Dan is ready for anything because he's not smart enough to know when it's about to hit him in the face. Hey there, Mario Bros, welcome in. Hope you're having a lovely night tonight. And I was talking earlier about post-stream, well, I guess post-Final Fantasy part of the stream, I will probably do a Dragon Warrior 4 practice session. It really depends on the amount of time it takes to take out Warmech and Chaos, for how much Dragon Warrior 4 there is. But I expect that there is going to be at least some. So I've been continuing to revise down my estimate for what it would take to do this playthrough here. And I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Are we going to level 50? We will eventually get to level 50. Right now, level 40 is our target. And Dave Thing, thank you very much for resubscribing yet again for your 3rd month. I know it's kind of weird with the way that Twitch has implemented the resubscriptions, where you can announce your subscription and also your streak separately. I am totally okay if people want to do the double announcements. I will thank you twice. And I hope you enjoy the shiny new orb as well, Dave Thing. Thanks again. Also, Chaos Lord Wesker, thank you very much for those bits. We'll put those bits towards the Melmon Relief Fund. I am relieved we only had a single Melmon trip to this entire game. We had to go there to visit Dr. Oon, but that was it. And Daysleeper thank you very much as well for resubscribing. Glad that you've been enjoying the show, and thanks again for the support. What Mega Man boss does Dan most resemble? I mean, I don't think that there is a floor man yet, but if we have enough Mega Man games, it will eventually exist. Just wait for Mega Man 27. And their best idea for Robot Master is a burning pile of rubble, and that'll be the one that'll be like, yep, that is Dan. Does this particular grind result in delicious Agama sandwiches? We are currently carving out Agama steaks. We might have some roast Agama for sandwiches later, but you gotta wait for it to cool down first. It takes at least 17 weeks for an Agama to reach room temperature. Hey there, Yellow Number 5. We are indeed doing a solo fighter run. And even more of a challenge, we're doing a solo Dan run. Currently working on getting our levels for taking on Kraken here next. I would say we are about, let's say 63 and a half Agamas away from level 40. Maybe 61.2. It's hard to tell sometimes with these Agamas. It turns out Agamas may not be as standardized and uniform as I originally suspected. Five Warmechs would be faster. That is true. If we were grinding on Warmechs, we could probably reach level 50 more rapidly. But what would be the fun of that? That would mean less Agamas for our enjoyment. Hey there, Putter Waffles. Dan is the only one alive, and he is keeping it that way. I had to try to take these other guys to the clinic, and Dan will not let me. What is Dan going to do with his vast fortune from these Agamas? He is going to invest in cat claws. He is buying up all the cat claw futures so that no one else need suffer through their presence ever again. Can Agama ride the Warmick machine? It turns out Warmick is actually just 14 Agamas in an exoskeleton. Strange but true Agama fact, and Warmick fact right there. Oh yeah, we do not have Final Fantasy running, except for days when we're actually doing the testing for Season 3. I decided not to have the bot running just so people are not confused about whether Final Fantasy is in progress. We do test days though. Then we will bring it all back and have a good time with it. And how many Warmicks is an Agama? If you want to do the math, Agama is 2,472 experience, and Warmick is 32,000. So it is closer to 13 Agamas, but you need that 14th to pilot. It's like Voltron. Unless you have the head, the rest of it doesn't work. Level 37, 3 more levels to go here in our first Gurgur Volcano grind. You can see that Dan's HP has kind of leveled off a little bit. That's because we're in a stretch now where there's not a lot of strong level ups or even really strong guaranteed stat growth levels. And they're kind of not really expecting you to do a level grind all the way up to max. Level 35 is roughly what kind of the recommended level was like for beating Final Fantasy when the designers were, writing about it. Nintendo Power was writing about it. 30 to 35 is what I think a lot of the suggestions were. And obviously we do it at much lower levels for the speedrun. But I would say that if you're in the high 20s, low 30s, you're right around where it feels most natural. And if you want to get some extra experience, Dan is not going to judge too much. See, recall level 27 in the strategy guide. That wouldn't be outrageous. It's when you get your second 8th tier spell charge. So you'd be able to have access to everything. And your next spell charge would be level 28, so you have a little bit of time to go for that. So if you wanted a third one, I'd say maybe get one more level there. 25, 26, and 28 for those 8th tier charges on the White Mage and Black Mage. Yeah, level 50 for Solo Thief is going to be a project because I have to actually save in between each level, as well as it being much, much harder to kill the Agamas like this. I mean, going from Sun Sword down to Rune Sword, you're looking at like a solid 10 points less damage per swing, and 3 less swings for most of this grind. So you go from like one-shotting Agamas to being like a 4 or 5 round fight. It is ridiculous how bad the Solo Thief is. There's Dan, level 38, 822 hit points. I am pretty likely to see a 999 on Dan by the end of this. Besides strength, you need anything else with each level up for Thief. You need strength and vitality. Intelligence is totally broken. Luck basically caps out. You would improve your first strike chances a bit with agility and luck, but it's not a big deal for those level ups as compared to strength, which you need for damage, and vitality, which you need for improved HP gains. The formula for HP growth is first of all based on whether you've got a strong level up scheduled, in which case you get like an additional 20 or so hit points right off the bat, and then the HP growth added to it, or the only HP growth for non-strong level ups, is based on your vitality score. So the earlier you grow your vitality score, the bigger long-term reward that you have. And that's why black belts get such good HP growth later on, is because they have a guaranteed vitality point every level. So by the time they're in the 30s, and they have 10, 15 more vitality than your fighter does, at that point, they are getting really big HP gains all the time compared to the fighter, and it just cumulatively adds up over those last 20 levels or so. Are these two trap tiles? Yes. This is why we're getting an Agama every step of the way, is because we have two trap tiles next to each other. The nice thing is it doesn't advance the encounters in the dungeon at all, so I will get nothing but Agamas. All Agamas all the time, going back and forward here. That's a big benefit over, say, the Ice Cave for the eye grind, where every off-tile step, you're going to have to advance the step counter by 1, and you'll eventually get a fight. If you have about, let's say, 12 steps between battles, then every 12 or so eyes, you're going to have to do a battle from the dungeon, which could be things like sorcerers or mages, frost giants, or other really unpleasant monsters. Whereas this is a pure and complete breakfast worth of Agamas. Does a black belt max their health at like level 40? I think it's like level 45. And you could get it sooner if you got better luck with your HP gains and your vitality growth based on those. So just because you have a really high vitality score. I talked about two components. There's three components to your HP level up. There's the strong level up. There is your vitality bonus. And then there's also a random small amount. So even if you have the exact same character class at the exact same level with the exact same vitality score, you're going to get a little bit of random variation. So you could have a low, medium, high, very high type of roll for your HP growth. But that'll be swamped by the black belt's really good vitality score component of that. Almost done with our first Agama grind, or really our second Agama grind. We had a small Agama grind last night when I was preparing to go to carry. We were coming in here like in the low 20s. We went to level 30, or level 29 I think, when we joined the Gurgur Volcano dive. And that was to break it up into even smaller chunks for how long I was going to spend on the Agamas at any one time. You gotta take a little bit of a break every once in a while, come up and smell the sulfurous fumes of the volcano. Just so it doesn't get too repetitive. How would a solo Black Mage run be like? So Black Mage, you would be probably doing fights where you could use Fire 3 and Nuke and Ice 3 and Lit 3, so if you think about the battles that are really good for that, Mirage Tower is pretty nice. Lit 3 on the guards, Fire 3 on the vampires, Ice 3 on the chimeras, maybe a nuke on the Saber-T, Catman groups. and you would try to get a couple of battles at a time and house up in between. Money would be no problem, and the house would also be a big chunk of your HP recovery. You're not going to be able to as easily one-shot things, but what you could also try to do is around level 30 to 35, dive into Temple of Fiends and warp back out. It's not impossible to warp out. Like, you would have a couple warp charges, you might have to backtrack some floors if you don't have enough, but you get a pretty good amount of progress going through it that way. Alright, one more Agrabah for luck, but we are done with our first bit. Let's go ahead and head on up to the Sea Shrine to take on Kraken here. Does Black Mage get access to all the spells without class change? You would lose Nuke and Warp without class change. I've been talking about for Black Mage, White Mage, and Thief doing class change, and for Fighter, Red Mage, and Black Belt doing it without class change. But these are all ideas for the future. As of right now, we have committed to our Fighter. The next one is probably Red Mage, but I will let all of you suggest whether Red Mage or Black Belt would be the more interesting of the two to watch. And we will plan it out one solo challenge at a time. Alright, in we go. We want to stop at this item shop because the heal potions are actually at the top of the menu, unlike Onrak, which has them in position 3. Why not let the Wheel of Destiny decide, because the wheel would pick thieves, and then our lives would be over. Can we spend a week in Melmond and declare that we beat the game? I think if you spend a week in Melmond, you've probably died. That is the only reason someone would spend that long there. I think we used about 20 potions or so in Bigger Volcano. It's ridiculously little that we needed to actually have for the recovery in there. Like, I probably didn't even need to potion up. Like, at 844 hit points now, I think we were in like the 600s, like 669 when we went in. That's just such a huge, huge tank of experience and HP and just everything going really well. Does the Black Belt class change do anything? The Black Belt actually gets worse with class change, so it would be counterproductive to class change there. Also, I need to get rid of some of this cash. It's weighing me down. And you, of course, know what I need to do to free up some space there. We must buy the cat claws. What changes with the Black Belt? You get slower magic defense growth after you get class changed. So you have faster magic defense growth as a Black Belt, 4 per level, as opposed to a Master, which only gets 1 per level. Why not do the same thing with Steel Armor? Because I have standards, Tipo. I have standards. Also, really no idea where we are in the encounter cycle, so let's fix that. Gonna go ahead and drop a house down there. We don't care about double saving with the house because we have no magic anyway. And so now we're at the first battle after Power On. Let's see, I would like to get rid of probably one fight here. Let me try this with one fight removed and see how this lines up. I've already been down to the top of the sea shrine. I know it sounds weird to say down to the top, but I have no idea which direction is actually up versus down in here. Like, maybe everything is upside down, and that's why it's so tough to navigate through this place. Or maybe Dan is just really, really bad with directions. See if we get the Naga fight here. I didn't really want it, but at this point, it's not a big deal if we get hit by spells. And there we go. We don't even have to worry about the Gurg or the Wiz Sahag now. Our level's spreading all that damage? Yes. So we're up another attack per round with the Sun Sword. And your strength score just keeps bumping it up a little by little. And you have to multiply that out by all the hits. You've broken through the monster's defense, so you have just straight up gain whenever you get another strength point. Early on, you're losing a lot of your damage to the defensive absorption, but once you cross that threshold, and you don't need critical hits, so you don't need high-end rolls to get to break them, then everything else just goes nuts for the overall output of that. Is the defense sword better? Well, too bad, I cannot use it. That is a knight-only item. I think Sun Sword is better anyway, even if I had the choice. I usually prefer Sun Sword over defense as my first preference. But in this case, there is no option. Sun Sword is going to be the best weapon for the fighter, as well as for the Red Mage runs. Until you get the Mazmune, of course. Black Belt is going to be barehanded. The White Mage is going to have the Silver Hammer, most likely. Doesn't really make a huge difference for what you put on the White Mage. It's not going to help. Black Mage has got like a silver knife, and the Thief has got the Rune Sword. For Black Belt Master, it benefits them to never class change. For a mixed group, where you have a Black Belt and somebody else, it depends on if you need spell slots. So a fighter and a thief don't start getting spell slots until they class change. And now you've got a conflict between those two classes. If you're going to level 50, you could class change at level 42, and then get your slots on the Knight and Ninja at 43, 45, 47, 49. That would be the ideal place to do it. But in general, you want to wait a little bit to class change. And if you are talking about a Red Mage, White Mage, Black Mage, you just get more spell selection, the ideal would actually be to wait till level 50 and then class change then, because that way you get all the benefit of the Black Belt's magic defense, and you'd still be able to use the spells. But it means you go through the entire game not having them, and that is perhaps a little bit more pain than it is worth. So again, you want to kind of make a balance between the different character class needs. We're worried about sorcerers at level 50. We will not see any sorcerers. Or at least we shouldn't see any sorcerers. Maybe I'll screw up some walking. I don't really have a solid plan for what my pathing is going to be for Mirage and for Temple of Fiends, because we don't have to go after all the treasure chests in Sky Castle and Mirage now. So that's going to be totally different. And for Temple of Fiends, I guess I could use the Marathon safe route, because that does do a hard power reset before going in there. But I can't use any of the other more optimized ones. Marathon safe route has a bunch of purple worms, which are no big deal. It's got no iron golems, no sorcerers, which is nice. I don't think the vampires are going to be too bad. Like, it really is going to be different just in the concerns about HP and heal potion usage throughout this. I think that's going to be the biggest worry overall. Well, this is about as good as we're going to get for the Kraken battle. Let's go ahead and pop our third Fiend here. We'll get defensed up at the front. 2 defense sword applications. That got most of the hits down. This should get the rest of the hits down. And let's go to town on this octopus. I'm assuming Sun Sword better than Lit 2 a little bit. We could Thor Hammer here if we thought that it would be an improvement. But it would do about 112 on average. And we are beating that with the Sun Sword right now by a decent margin. We're looking at like 140s here so far. That's pulling the average up even higher. Oh yeah, that'll pull it up. Good Kraken fight there. Are there any benefits to Black Belt's class changing? No. There are no benefits at all. It is only a downgrade. Dude, I want my heal potions in the bottom left. Get them to a more convenient space there. I'll take some trolls. I need the experience anyway, and the trolls are too afraid of me to fight. Alright, that is a concern. We start having Agamas run away. That's when you know you've been there a little bit too long. If Agamas run away, I might have to start grinding in Mirage and Sky, where you've got higher level monsters. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope we don't need to grind on Warmechs, because that would certainly be an exciting way to get the last couple levels. But I don't remember having this problem in the past runs with the 4 character groups. Like when I did 4 Thieves, I had to grind a Thief up to level 50. So that was done without seeing them run, if I remember. Yeah, the Ice should have 255 morale. He would be a safe one. I think Agama is safe. I think even at level 50, you're not going to see the Agamas run. Or at least not run very much. Hey there, Sandball. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday here. Back all the heal potions we used on Kraken, and let's go back to Giga Volcano for continuing our Agama grind. Again, the order is now going to be level 50, Tiamat, Warmech, and then Temple of Fiends. Are Temper and Power Glove broken? Yes. Temper, Saber, which is what the Power Glove uses. Lock. Pretty much any buff or debuff does not work. The exceptions are fast and things that increase your elemental resistance. Things that negate elemental resistance don't work, but increasing your ones do. There we go, plop our airship back down. Reset the beginning of the encounter cycle so I can get rid of the Argoyle fight here. And let's go back in. Hey there, Captain Vittles. Welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening here tonight. We got Kraken down, so now we need to grind up for our Tiamat trip. And if I get level 50 for Tiamat, then I won't have to do anything else for Warmech. If we don't quite get level 50, then we'll think about it. Maybe Warmech will be how we get our last couple levels. It's roughly 1 Warmech per level up. It's a very small difference because it hovers around 32,000 experience for each level up. Like right now I need to get 28k because we're a little bit into 41 already. We've gotten some of the Sea Shrine fights helping us out there. We get any of the really good Sea Shrine battles? I guess we were mostly in the 1 Agama territory there, except for the Water Elemental fights. Water Elementals are like, I want to say like 0.7 Agamas each. It's like the triple Water Elemental was a pretty good amount of XP overall. And we had him like twice. Remember that we're on the Agama floor. We don't need to go down. All we need to do is murder some Agamas. And drink delicious Agama milkshakes from their byproducts. Do Agamas also count things in terms of Agamas exclusively? You know how in Lufanish every word is Lupa? In Agama, every word is Agama. It's a really confusing language. Hey there, Harold. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good evening here. And you were just in time for part 2 of our Agama grind. This one for all the Agamas. How long I've been doing this? So we had about 5 hours yesterday, a little bit less than 1 hour so far today, and I am going to go to excessive levels because I actually want to kill a Warmech here. So I think we will be done in probably about 90 minutes or so. That is my guess, somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours to finish this. We got level 50, we got Tiamat, we got Warmech, we got Chaos. And level 50 is probably in like the 35, maybe 30 minute range. We got Tiamat, let's call that 10-15 minutes. Warmech probably 10-15 minutes if we get it first try. And Temple of Fiends about 30 minutes or so. Now we're killing a Warmech, you better believe we're killing a Warmech. We're gonna split it up into 2 trips though. I'm gonna do Tiamat first. And that way we can come back and have a Warmech with a easy warp out afterwards. In case Dan breaks his legs during the fight. If Silver Armor gave 27 defense, would they be worth replacing the Iron Armors? So Iron Armor gives you 24 defense, has 23 weight penalty. Silver Armor right now is 18 defense, 8 weight penalty. It's better to have the defense than to worry about the weight. That's 6 defense for 7.5% better, or 7.5% worse evasion rate. I'm willing to make that trade. If Silver Mail was 28, so you got plus 4 defense instead of minus 6, and you still had a 7.5% better evasion score, would that be worth spending 7,500 gold to upgrade? And the answer for a speed run is probably no. Because you don't even bother getting the elemental armor. You just wait until you get dragon mail at the end. And you rock an iron armor until the late game. Like maybe you would just drop for the silver mail cash at some point when you had plenty of money and buying things was no objective cost to them. But you wouldn't rush to get it immediately. In a casual run, I would definitely recommend, if silver armor was actually a defensive upgrade, to buy that thing as soon as you could. Also, Uncabrilly, welcome in. Base game feels so slow compared to randomizer. That is something that we definitely noticed when we started this challenge out. It's like Dan is swimming in Agama molasses, which is similar to regular molasses, but a little bit hotter. Actually, it's a lot hotter. It's pretty much practically on fire. You like the slower walk speeds? So, I remember, like, I've had quite a few speedruns. Like, at least double-digit numbers. Which, we had to kill the run because of a walking mistake. And seeing how slowly this moves, I have no idea how you would ever make a mistake while walking through this. Like, it is minutes to react to somebody taking a step. But I remember it seeming like you had to actually, like, focus really hard on your movement to make sure that you were taking all the right turns. It's kind of funny how over time you get acclimated to the faster speed overall. Same thing with like inputting menu commands for the battle. It's like I am impatient waiting for the next menu to pop up. There's level 43. Dan has hit 900 hit points. He's got 7 levels to get 99 health. He's got a good chance, I would say, of doing it, but not guaranteed to hit 999. I don't think that there is a whole lot of strong level ups left. That's where the plus 20 bonuses come from. So he's kind of cruising on the random HP amount plus vitality score at this point. When I do a challenge like this on the randomizer for quality of life, if I'm going to do a challenge, I want it to be like as hard as possible so that there is no consideration about doing it again to make it harder. Like when I did the solo party challenges, where it was 4 of a kind of a particular character class, I did it as 4 ninjas, and I realized I could have done 4 thieves and never have to do it again. So, I could have saved myself a 4 ninja playthrough if I had thought about that ahead of time. And so we're doing it here. As much as I can, I want to do these with no quality of life and no class change and no help like that. Final Fantasy VI sprint shoes for me are a little bit too fast for the movement. I want to have something like half speed sprinting for that game. It's one of the things that when I was doing Final Fantasy VI speedrunning was kind of annoying, is that you actually do have like a little bit of trouble controlling some of the fine movement of those characters. Yeah, I eventually did 4 thieves, but I could have skipped the 4 ninja part of the process. That's where the savings would have been. Could have gone right to 4 thieves and never had to experience the ninjas. Because the ninja is as bad as the thief is, up until class change. It's only once you class change, which is like 2 hours for the ninja to finish the game at that point. You have to do the entire first like 10 hours as the thieves. Ooh, that was a big one. Alright, level 44, we're at 936 health. I think our odds of maxing out have gone pretty high right now. We need another 63 health in 6 levels. We get 1 more strong level up or golden. If we don't get any strong level ups, then we might have a stretch in our hands, but I think we could still do it. Hey there, Reg, welcome in. Dan has been really carrying this team places. He has not talked about what's going on right now, but clearly he is very troubled by these Agamas. Hey there, Uno Squid, what have you wandered into? You've wandered into our solo fighter challenge, where we are prepping for our battles against Tiamat, Warmech, and Chaos upcoming. So I'm going to get level 50 on Agamas, do a Tiamat battle, come back for a Warmech, and then go to Temple of Fiends for our Chaos finale. Also, Neapolitan and Afterglow, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening here. Would Dan be a suitable actor to play John Wick? I would definitely cast an Agama. I think Dan is not going to win that part. Just has not got the face for it. Am I going to grind for Warmech? No, I can manipulate a Warmech. In the NES version, I can control what encounters that I get. So we'll have no problems getting him. He's also 3 and 64. So he's a little bit easier to get in this version of the game than in the remakes. Also, Neopal and Afterglow, thank you very much for resubscribing there. Glad that you're continuing to enjoy the show, and thanks again for all the continued support. How do I manipulate a Warmech? I know what encounter is coming next, and so I will advance encounters until just before we're going to get a Warmech, and then walk on the bridge and get it. Final Fantasy 1 NES. It is entirely predictable based on your step routing for what encounters you're going to get and where. Level 45. 947. Alright, we need 52 more hit points. I think that was, what, plus 11? That keeps up, then we're good. Also, congratulations, Reg, on your Eye of the Beholder progress. Again, an excellent video game. Maybe not the Super Nintendo port, but the original was quite nice. So the Agama grind continues, one Agama at a time. I mean, I'd love to get more Agamas at a time, but you can only do that in Temple of Fiends. And without travel spells, it's a little bit problematic to go into Temple of Fiends. Is there an estimate on the number of Agamas that have been harmed? No Agamas have been harmed, but we are killing roughly 14 per level up. So if we started tonight's stream at level 29, we are looking at around 300 Agamas by the end of the evening. We probably had a solid 50 or so Agamas yesterday as well. Hey, Kenny Start. It's a bit of a pain to do the timers for multi-day streams, and especially something like this where I was expecting it to stretch for, like, across, like, SGDQ. It would have been impossible to have a timer running. But I'll see what I can do in the future. I think because the other ones are going to be longer, it'll also be very difficult to have a continuous timer throughout them. So I am likely for all the solo challenges to go with just a straight presentation of the screen. You read that Warmech was a 1 in 64? He was a 1 in 64 on the Famicom version. And they swapped Warmech with Fighter for the 5th floor of Sky Castle in the game data. And my suspicion is they did it because of the Nintendo Power Trivia Contest, where you had to find Warmech. And so they made him 3 times more common for the US release. This is the only version of the game that's like this. All other versions are 1 in 64. This one is 3 in 64. So either they made a really weird mistake, or it was something deliberate, and the trivia contest is the only reason I would imagine they would deliberately increase the Warmech encounter rate. What is being done with all the Agama meat? Well, we put a bunch of Agama steaks in the freezer. We've got the Agama ribs in the smoker. We are starting an Agama stew. Somebody asked for some roast Agama for their sandwiches, but it's going to take a while to cool off. We got a lot of Agama byproducts here. that are coming to your dinner table in probably some pre-processed form soon. Don't ask what's in the Agama sausage. That is true. It's full of zombie. I don't even know how that's legal, but they probably make it in Melmont. Is it truly a challenge if you grind Agamas? No, it is a joy. It is a joy and pleasure to do this. The Agamas are what makes it fun. So we should be pretty close to one of our last few level ups here. I want to see if Dan is still going to be on track for hitting 999 health. It's really close right now. So he's got a chance. $989, yeah, we got it. We're gonna get 999 at level 48. We will hit the health cap. Gonna do a monk black belt. I'm gonna be doing black belt or red mage as the second challenge. And whichever one of those two is not picked is gonna be the third one. We're putting white mage, black mage, thief to the end. Those are the ones, well, thief was really the end. White mage, black mage before thief. And then red mage and black belt before white mage, black mage in the order of these. We're using the sun sword? Yeah, the sun sword we've had since before we killed Carrie. I actually, after getting the airship, went right to the waterfall to get the cube, went to Sea Shrine to get the slab, and then the chime, grabbed the sun sword and Thor hammer at that point. And at the waterfall, you also get the ribbon. And in the Sea Shrine, you also get the opal bracelet. And that was the last time I needed to upgrade equipment at all. Only kill imps. This isn't randomizer yet. It actually takes a really long time to get levels by killing imps. In the randomizer, imps are crazy. They're worth like 0.03 Agamas. Like, that is just off the chart value. What do you do for attacks with the white mage? If you class change, you can get the Mazmune out of Temple of Fiends. So basically the way that white wizard works is that you grind with the harm spells and get up to like level into like the 30s, so that you have a couple charges of fade. You take the fade spells to Temple of Fiends and kill the fiends using fade. Well, Lich only needs harm, but the other ones need fade to win. And you grab the Mazmune, you exit out, and then when you come back for the real trip for Chaos, you use the Mazmune to kill the fiends, and that way you have a whole bunch of fade charges left for the Chaos fight. That's with White Wizard. With White Mage, you don't quite get that luxury because you don't have the exit spell and you don't have Fade. So it's a lot tougher. That's why White Mage, Black Mage, Thief, I would strongly consider doing it with class change. Whereas Fighter, Red Mage, and Black Belt, I think you don't need it. I mean, Black Belt, you definitely don't need it. Fighter, you definitely don't need it. Red Mage... Like, what are you missing out for the Mage to the Wizard? Red Wizard would get Warp, so you'd be able to grab the Mazmune and grind with the Mazmune instead of the Sun Sword. Red Wizard would be able to get Fire 3, Lit 3, Ice 3. So you have those spells to grind with. but you probably don't need them for the bosses. I think the Red Wizard would get levels and go melee for a lot of the regular bosses in the game. And for the refights, elemental spells don't really work all that well. I can't believe Dan at 459 health is at less than half health right now. He is one buff fighter here. He's also in the buff because he's forgotten his pants, but that is something that we will fix before too long. Actually, we're not going to fix it. I don't have any pants. I threw all the pants away. I gotta know, how close are we in terms of Agamas? We are approximately 19 Agamas away. We are down to our last 20 or so Agamas here. And then it'll be time to go to the Sky Castle. It's actually pretty close to a half hour for the Agama grind then. Might have been more like 25 minutes in the end, but that was not a bad estimate. Trying to estimate the time to finish so that I know how much Dragon Warrior 4 I'm going to have. It looks like we'll be able to do a full Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 practice run here. Which will certainly be a very big change of pace. Less Agamas in Dragon Warrior 4, I've noticed. Level 49, 999 hit points. Dan's just showing off now. Level 50 just for fun. I mean, he might get a strength point here, in which case he does get some benefit for the level up. Maybe some luck, agility for very slightly improving your chances of first strike. Your first strike odds go up by 1%. Every 10 points of agility plus luck that your lead character has. So it's a really, really small influence. But it does, like, subtly shift things over time. Like, if you imagine over the course of the game, you're gonna get 50 points. So you have half of the level ups get you an agility point, half the level ups give you a luck point. Thief would get better guaranteed gains, but not by much. You swing those percentages by like 5% on your first strike chances. Alright, where are we right now? 16k. I'm gonna get the rest of my experience. No, we'll get the Agama experience. I want to get level 50 on the Agamas. I was gonna say, let's get the rest of the experience in Sky Castle. But I've gone this far. I cannot give up the Agamas now. $32,800 is the experience cap. It's a little bit of a rough number because once you get kind of converged on it, it's actually not like a smooth repeating number every time. That's something like Dragon Warrior games, like if you look at Dragon Warrior 1, they use very round numbers for the level ups. So it'll be like, alright, you need 4,000 experience points for next level. Go up to this mark and you'll have an odd amount of experience at the very end for when you actually hit max level, but the interval between the levels is really consistent. Final Fantasy 1, it goes up and down by like a couple hundred experience points. And it's really weird that it just doesn't have like a flat amount all the way up to 50. Instead, it just kind of like bounces around a bit. Got no idea how they pick the amounts. Also, Medrise, welcome in. You are just in time for the tail end of our Agama grind. We are coming up on level 50 here. There we go. Dan, level 50, is done with Agamas. Dan's pretty much done with everything. And behold, our beautiful experience total, 993.43. We could squeeze a little bit more in there to cap out at 999,999. But it has 0 experience for our level up, as nature intended. And it's an unrunnable fight, so we're taking this one. It's not the first time Dan's hit level 50. If you remember the 4 Thief playthrough, we had a level 50 Dan there as well. Trying to think about how many of the 4 of a kind challenges I went to level 50 on. I know definitely Thieves. I think I probably did it on White Mage as well. I remember like one of the White Mages hit 50. Hey there, Specty, welcome in. How are the challenges going? Well, Dan is now level 50. We've killed 3 of the 4 fiends. So I need to take out Tiamat, and I need to take out Warmech here. Before we go in, though, I need to get rid of some of this excess cash baggage that we are carrying around. So let's go back over to the town of Gaia here. And see how many more cat claws we can get. My dream is to one day have an entire inventory full of cat claws. But that day will not be today. Tipo, you're gonna get 2 cat claws here. That's all I can afford. Can I get more bottles? I can buy bottles as much as... No, actually no. I cannot buy any more bottles. In the base game, once you have used the caravan item, caravan vendor disappears. If I had not used the bottle, then it would have been possible to buy more. But alas, bottle vendor is not accessible. Tyro vendor, though, on the other hand, those are in stock. Delicious, delicious Tyro appetizers to go along with our Agamas. Alright, go ahead, drop that cabin down, reset to the beginning of the encounter cycle. Any big walls so far? The hardest ones have been Marsh Cave, Astos, and Ordeals by a lot. Nothing else was really difficult. Gee, Mirage, we go. I'll see where I end up in the encounter cycle for this. It'll be an interesting question as to what our pathway through is going to be like. And Dan gets stunned right off the bat. We're 2 seconds into this. Dan already taking a nap there. It does kind of make me worried for Temple of Fiends if we are still getting stunned by things. Although, a lot of these monsters you should have really good resistance to their stun touch by now. Alright, MTI, have a good night. Thanks for dropping by. Is that stun through ribbon? Yes. Guards are going to have lightning for their element. So their touch attack can be blocked by lightning for applying the status summon on it. Oh yeah, getting to level 50 with a solo character is super easy. You're basically getting quadruple normal experience the entire game. So a lot of things are worth just... I mean, it's the equivalent of getting 4 Agamas of experience per fight, and that is going to get you levels really fast. Now in here we need nothing, not even a Bane Sword, I would say. I don't think Bane Sword really helps me all that much. Maybe I'll think about that for a future trip. Should we come back here and need to waste steps on our way to Warmech. For right now, I just want to kind of see what happens with our trip up here. Actually, I don't really want to be in this battle. We got Man-Cat Medusa here on the next floor. Actually, no. Now we don't. Now we got Whiz-Vamp. That is fine. I can deal with Whiz-Vamp. How many Agma's worth of experience to get from the start to level 50? A little bit more than 400. It is about 414 Agamas from level 0 to hitting level 50 there. We're going to be burning counters to get rid of the sorcerer fights coming up. The sorcerer should be running, just like a lot of these other monsters are, but I don't want to take the chance of a trance or a death touch attack. Yeah, it actually doesn't sound like a large amount of Agamas in total, but if you think about it, we reach that start of the grind with like less than 100 Agamas worth of experience the entire rest of the game. So you are getting less than 100 Agamas in a typical speedrun for the whole thing. And so basically whatever you needed it to do for that Agama grind right there, that is almost the exact same as the total amount of Agamas that you need from the very beginning. Alright, let's go up here. This is where I would be in a normal playthrough for the marathon route. We're coming up on that floor. I just didn't go through all of the other item pickups, which is why I got there with so much time to waste. Delay here. This reduces your number of encounters on 5th floor by 2 by getting 1 extra encounter here. And that's because the 5th floor has got a higher encounter rate than the 4th floor does. And so we just skipped over 2 values in the encounter table that would cause fights on this floor when there was only 1 on the 4th floor. What is the equipment? It is the Sun Sword, a ribbon, opal bracelet, ice shield, and pearl ring. I've also got in hand a defense sword, a mage staff, and a Thor hammer. Alright, it is time for Tiamat. We don't have the Bane Sword, so we're going to be doing this the old-fashioned way by punching her really, really hard. Let's go ahead and defense up for safety. Can't really do much about her elemental skills, but I can neutralize her bite attack, and then we want to have her physically attack as much as possible to reduce the total damage output. Now let's see what type of damage we're looking at. She's got 1,000 health in total. 7 or 8 rounds, not at all a problem. We could last 20 or so, judging by the damage that we're taking here. Strict rotation through skills, all of which are about the same. Thunder, Blaze, Blizzard, and Poison are the top tier of Fire, Ice, Lightning, and Poison damage. Weather Ribbon on, they'll do about 50 a round. Here we go, Tiamat, last of our 4 fiends has fallen. Let me go ahead and save, and then we're coming back for the War Mech. Gotta make sure that we get a War Mech in here as well. A couple cabins will do it. There we go. Alright. I want to go back in at 0. I think I want to waste a couple fights out here. Make things a little bit faster for me. So That's 1. We'll skip 6 battles. See how that goes. 2. 3. I don't remember what the count was for battle skips when I did the Warmech fight at Awesome Games Done Quick. But it was somewhere around like 5 or 6. Alright, that was Tyra Wyvern. Now we're on Battle 6 here. Alright, let's try it here. See how we do. I might grab the Bane Sword as well if I feel like there's extra steps. I don't think Bane Sword really helps in Temple of Fiends at all. So I've been trying to kind of minimize the amount of extra junk I'm carrying around. Like, I don't even really feel like I need to be holding on to this Zeus Gauntlet, which has never been used since basically the Ice Cave was finished. As soon as I had the Thor Hammer, that was the last time Zeus ever got a turn. We go to the 3rd floor here. This should be the Catman fight next. We'll get the Blue D first. Not sure if I even get the Catman on this floor now. If we don't get the Catman, then upstairs will be an eye fight. If we do get the Catman, there'll be Evil Man Nightmare instead. Alright, should be the eye here. Do I remember the way through Vanilla Temple of Fiends? We actually did a long Temple of Fiends. What was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago? That was the first time I had to do Temple of Fiends in like a few months. And Carthus Pro, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening here. We are about to take on Warmech on this trip. And the Cheese Grater, welcome in as well. I think it was last week. I think it was not last week. I think it was longer ago than that. Maybe 2 weeks. I want this guard sentry battle before I go up. Gets rid of a man-cap Medusa on the next floor. Whiz-Vamp battle here. We're basically lined up with the same spot as we were before for the encounters. This should be Guard Sentry. Actually, I'll delay a little bit and then it'll be Guard Sentry. Guard Shy, that's okay. Expect it. Now, do I stay down or do I go up? Let's go up. It'll get the battles faster. Warmech should be 6 encounters in. So there's 1. We got Nacho. We got Air. We got an R-Hydra. We got a Gurnaga. And then we got a Warmech. There's the delicious Nacho platter. Outstanding with the jalapeno sauce. Hydra's, Naga, and Warmech for the remaining fights. There's the Hydra battle. Normally, if I was not skipping the encounters, this would be the last one that you'd have in the old version of the route. With the encounter skip, you get rid of that last R-Hydra fight, which I feel like I could actually take that in many of the newer routes. Now that I know that R-Hydras are so good for experience. Right on the altar here. Let me get healed up. That's kind of important. Gotta go into this with our best feet forward. And let's see. This shouldn't be a safe square, so we should be getting encounters here. But maybe not. How about back here? There we go. Warmech striking first. 302. Uh-oh. Alright, this is going to be a damage race. Let's go. 347, good hit. We actually want to see the nuclears, evidently. This physical hit's doing a big toll on Dan. We're about halfway through. No, that's a lot. I don't think Dan's doing it. Not at a 51. Dan, big hit, big hit. Ah, that's not enough. Not enough. Alright, try again. We will try again here. I feel like I can get a Warmech down if we get some better luck than that. I might go with the defense swords, even though I really don't want to take some nuclears at the start of the fight. I feel like if I don't, then he's gonna be too aggressive with the physical hits. We were taking like triple damage from the physicals compared to the nuclear. Am I gonna do a Warmech kill with other character classes? Probably not. Black Belt could do it. But I don't think the other 4 character classes are worth trying. Would 1 defense be worth it? I think you really need 2. With 1 defense, you only have about a 25% chance of getting through a physical attack round with no damage. And it's better to take that second round of defense to move it from like 25% to 95%. The fact that we got ambushed also doesn't help. That's a 75% chance of Warmech ambushing you, so it's super common. But very unfortunate when it takes place. These are some very, very bad men. Luckily, they are not too difficult for Dan here. Alright, there's the hardcore mana cores. At this point, I do need to wait a little bit before going on to 4th floor. This one, actually, we want to be on 4th floor 4, but then we have to come back down to 3rd floor temporarily. Even with all this extra defense levels, I still don't really want to do the man-cat fights. They're probably not nearly as bad as sorcerers would be. One more battle should skip over the other man-cat. Oh, but then we have... Okay, no, that's not a problem. I was going to say we have to skip a bunch more for 5th floor as well, but this is okay because I could just count out until the Warmech's going to happen. There's a sorcerer fight right before the Warmech. So 5th floor is actually dangerous to go up there. Is the sentry a robo-dog? That's an interesting concept that I had not thought of in the past. What equipment reduces damage from nuclear? Nothing. There's no way to reduce nuclear damage. Next up is our pile of nachos. And this is the one that is Sorcerer upstairs. Now we got the war mech. There's actually 2 war mechs in 4 battles here. So maybe we will get a double war mech on this bridge. Here we go, time for everyone's favorite nuclear-powered robot, Warmech V2. Ah, the punch again. If he used nuclear the first round, that'd be so much better. Here's one defense up. I think that, though, with the big first round, it's going to be really tough. He has to punch me a lot now. You want to go for physical attacks every time. 100 damage. Come on, Dan, you can do better than that. $200 damage. 300 damage. 400. It's a good streak of physicals. 600. 750. We're at 900. 1,000, there we go. Warmech has been defeated. Dan is the greatest champion of all time. And we have done it with our solo fighter here. Solo fighter versus Warmech. Easy every time. Yeah, we got pretty lucky that he did not use a bunch of nuclears later in that battle. Also, by the way, next encounter is Warmech, so we will see if we get a second one here. I did say there was 2 Warmechs in 4 battles, so let's find out if Warmech Part 3 is on the table as well. Yes, there he is! Another first strike! Ah, 345. You're killing me, Warmech. Literally killing me. Okay, we need him to not do those nuclears. We are starting the attacks. 200. Call it 400. 500. 550, Dan. Don't think I didn't see that one. 650. I'm not even counting that. I am not counting that. There we go. 900. One more hit could do it. And Dan takes out Warmech number 2. The Warmech grind is real, everybody. We got a cat claw worth of Warmech cash right there. Dan kicking that door down. He does not care about Tiamat's personal space anymore. And let's go ahead. Grab our last cat claw. And head on up to Temple of Fiends. You just missed the Warmech grind, Adam. We got 2 out of 3 on the Warmechs. I think that's pretty good. We got a winning record overall in our Warmech battles. And who gets this next cat claw? Oh, Tipo has got room for another one. We have room for more cat claws on Tipo. Is 50 the maximum for Final Fantasy? Yes. We're at maximum level right now. Have I streamed SMRPG before? I don't think so. I don't think I've ever done a playthrough of SMRPG on stream. I think it's a nice game, but I'm not like a super big fan of it. I actually prefer the Paper Mario games that they did afterwards a little bit more, like Thousand Year Door. Can we get a steel armor? Not unless we're good for chaos. We gotta make sure that we have enough money to buy 800 healing potions first. How many cat claws do we have? We have 8 cat claws. We're making sure that Kraken is going to be fully armed when we get to him at Temple of Fiends. If I give him 8 cat claws, it'll make his damage go to 0. We're not going to do the Bane Sword. We are going to do this legitimately. We will make sure that Dan has got this situation under control before we consider ourselves victorious. How many heal potions did you drink, Dan? He definitely has some type of heal potion addiction here. I thought we had cured him of the rubies, but it's clear he is sneaking them out on the side when we are not looking. All this Melmon talk sounds awfully suspicious. I hope there's not a war mech in Melmon waiting for my surprise party. Speaking of surprises, we are going to surprise Dan with an all-expenses-paid trip to the Temple of Fiends here. Let's find out how our trip goes. I'm thinking that I will use the marathon safe route for this. So we're going to burn off 8 encounters here. There's 2. Do I have heal staff? I do have a heal staff. 3. This one should be the wolf fight coming up for calibration. Looks good there. All right, 2, 3, 4. Remember to put the heal staff actually in the inventory. There we go. Heal staff, Thor versus Mage. I think I'd rather have the Mage staff overall. In case we have to do it again, I will remember that's there. Let's explore the parts of Temple of Fiends we never get to see. Except we got to see them in this one because I actually got the Wear and Rune Swords here for cash. 5. Do you think I was joking about giving Kraken 8 cat claws? He would be devastated if we did not come through with our promise. 6. 7. This is going to be our creep. There we go. Alright, and before we go down, we have the zombie fight. Our last good encounter here. I should have burned the steps off down at the bottom where I normally do them. So I don't have to deal with these bats. There we go. So, battle number 9. Let's head down into Temple of Fiends. So because it's the marathon route, this is set up to get the Germedusa fight on Lys's floor and things like that we are not going to need. Like, we probably don't really want the Germedusa fight, to be honest. But I know it's got other nice properties, like you don't have to worry about iron golems, you don't have to worry about sorcerers. There are some purple worms, I will admit. If there is one deficiency, it is the purple worm count. This is to get rid of the gas dragon fight. Dan was cremated. It's okay, Dan. You will recover. Is this Dan's natural speed? No, this is accelerated by 10 times, Chuck. You're watching a replay and fast forward. Alright, we got our Phantom here. Phantom... I guess I'll go with the defense sword strats. The physicals... It's just one big critical, so I think that the defense sword's not going to be as strong of a play here. But I'll still go for it. Criticals ignore your evasion skills, so it doesn't really help much on the dodge. See right there? He still hit me. Still cost me a solid 6 heal potions right there. Yeah, I should have just gone for it. We could have killed him fast enough to avoid that. Again, a return trip here. We got one purple worm fight coming up. I think it's not a big deal to do purple worms. Those are overall going to be fairly quick for Dan here. Are more solo runs coming? So we got summer games done quick next week. So I'm going to be away for 10 days after this. But when we come back after that, I will be doing either solo red mage or solo black belt next. And the opposite after that while we work on Final Fantasy Season 3. Which is probably going to be late July, but I do not have a firm date for when Season 3 officially is going to start. So the command for what Final Fantasy is, exclamation point FFF. We'll give you all the details. There's going to be a new monster balance in Season 3. Yeah, we will do an update to the monster values based on the game results of Season 2. We will be rebalancing how bingos are rewarded. So there's no longer a cap on the number of bingo winners that we can have. Probably some other slight changes to how joining bingo late works so that people are not getting, 0-point bingos. And I'll think about a couple of other features. I got a couple convenience features that I'd like to add, as well as a couple of gameplay features that I've been tossing around. Here we go. Do we get the nuke? We get a 344 nuke. Alright, well we lost 12 heal potions there. Was hoping to get the nukeless Lich here. Are unmeetable enemies removed from random and chaos modes? They're already removed. So you shouldn't have the unmeetable ones with the way that it's currently set up for the bonus monsters or for your team selection. I'll have to check to make sure that there is none that I missed in there, but I believe they've been updated for that. Look at that. All these beautiful Agamas, and we've already had our complete fill. Hey there, Vatigar. This is vanilla. So we are doing this the hard way. 99 heal potions and a dream, with our solo fighter going down to the bottom of Temple of Fiends. You know what? I'm going to grab a little bit of free healing here. Let's go ahead and defense up for a little bit, and then heal staff up to 999 again. Probably should have done that earlier on the floor. But I think we'll have enough potions to reach chaos here. Like, you got the big fiend fights. Those are going to be really draining. You have, up to, 30-some heal potions that could be used in a single fight. But in between, you're relatively safe until you're down on, like, Kraken and Tiamat's floor. That's when it gets a little bit rougher. Is there Dragon Warrior 4 after SGDQ? Yes, there is Dragon Warrior 4. I was just talking about what is going on for the Final Fantasy portion of the stream here. There's Dragon Warrior 4, and there may be Alicia Dragoon as well. I am undecided about whether to do more Alicia Dragoon on stream right now, or just focus on Dragon Warrior 4 and Final Fantasy for a bit. Gonna get the Masbian? Yes, we will definitely be getting the Masbian. Makes a really big difference overall to have the Masbian versus the Sun Sword. Also, Short Temple of Fiends, Chimera, Iron Golem, and Purple Worm are the ones that are missing. Those are the only 3 monsters that disappear. I guess bonus monsters I may not be checking to see if they're eligible or not. I'm actually thinking about redoing the concept of bonus monsters in general for randomizer now that we've balanced the point values for teams. Bonus monsters were really about when people were using their regular speedrun teams for the randomizer group. And so we had to put bonus monsters there so that everybody was on kind of an even footing. But now that people have made dedicated teams for randomizer, I don't think it's as critical that we have the bonus monsters there. Let's see, I want to actually delay. So normally I'd be going down here and grabbing a pro cape right here, but let's pretend like we got it because I don't actually need a pro cape. Get a little bit closer to our carry fight. Yeah, if you do the other fire fight before we go down. That makes sense. We're right here, doing our wiggle. Go a little bit further down. We have our giant, and then we have the second firefight. I could have sworn it was one of these fights that I went down on, but it says 18 for where I'm supposed to do this, which is after this battle. Alright, 3 fires this time. Make it so everyone's got the same total monster cost for bonus members. The problem is I can't put teams over 10 entries. So if somebody's already got 10 members in their base team, you're not going to get any bonus monsters. So they'd be at a disadvantage compared to somebody that had 5 members of their team that could get a whole bunch of bonus monsters to whatever the value that the bonus was applied for. I like the idea of bonus monsters because of the randomness factor, and it's randomized. You might want to put some randomization into the teams as well. But I gotta think about how to kind of make it balanced overall. Well, today the way that bonus members work is that everybody gets up to 10 team members. So if you have 10 team members, you get 0 bonus monsters. If you have 5 team members, you get 5 bonus monsters, and so on. So I understand that there's a little bit of a discrepancy already, because you're getting some free value on top of your $25. But I'm trying to completely solve that instead of only partially solving that. I'm going to think about ideas. I think that it's either going to be some way of giving everyone a fixed number of bonus monsters, or if I go for a fixed amount, then some people might get slightly less value out of bonus teams. Here we go. All right, so we are going to do our carry fight here next. Carry, Kraken, these are going to be straight up defending to reduce the physical hits and hoping that they do a lot of physicals afterwards. Not before the second defense sword carry, after the second defense sword. There you go. Hey there, Stalin. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good evening here. Also, from this point on... Oh, wait a minute. I just realized the critical flaw in my plan. This route assumes that I have the warp spell to avoid backtracking after Mazmune. So we're probably going to get some bad battles on the way back from that. Let's see what happens with this trip now. I will improv it to see if I can do the best that I can on the trip. Also, wow, we are getting crushed by these water elementals. Looks like we need to defense up and spend some quality time hanging out with this battle. Want more info commands? I'll think about what I can provide for info based on what people kind of commonly ask as stats for things. It's certainly not that difficult to do the info, but I have to find a way to express it well. Sorcerer on the team map floor? Yeah, sorcerers are on the next floor. So that's going to be a big concern overall. I probably actually want to go a little bit earlier in the encounter cycle, and then have my normal walk, which I think has a couple of battles afterwards for like vampires and things, which are not good fights, but they're not completely awful ones. Hey there, Yuhaka, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening here. I kinda wish the heal staff would skip people that were already dead, but this is a known deficiency in the way the heal spell works. It's one of the reasons why you don't get a lot of value out of the heal staff, even with the solo grind that you do for like the any percent 3 character speedrun. All that animation time. Is heal helmet or no? Heal helmet and heal emitter, or heal helmet and heal staff are exactly the same in terms of effect. They both cast the heal 1 spell. There's nothing better for free healing in the game. Is heal 1 worse than cure 1? Yes. On average, cure 1 will give you more recovery than heal 1 will. But I'm saving my heal potions for the next floor, where I can't really safely do battles like this. Like, even the ones coming up, when you have like a whole bunch of monsters, you pretty much don't want to be hanging out during the fights, because it'll take a long time to get the rest of the pack killed off. What is planned for Season 3? Well, I've revealed all that I am willing to tell for now. There is going to be a rebalancing of points. There is going to be a change to how bingos are awarded. And there's going to be a change to how bonus monsters are assigned. Everything else besides that is still under wraps. I will neither confirm nor deny any rumors regarding the Megadan. I will only warn you for your safety, you should stand at least 50 feet back. Alright, I've gotten pretty much as much value as I think I want to squeeze out here. I do have a decent number of heal potions still left. So let's go keep on with this walk on the Sea Shrine floor. It's possible to randomize the class color. There's only 2 palettes in the game. There's the red palette and the blue palette. And that is a pretty fixed limitation. There's actually a 3rd palette that's used for flashing when you cast spells. So those will work very strangely if you want to take a 3rd one. But basically there's only 2 color schemes that you can have. Alright, let's do it. It is time to get cracking. Oh, we're getting cracked. We are getting cracked really hard. Start off that double defense go. We beat him on round 2. I didn't give him enough cat claws. Does anybody have a 9th cat claw? I think Kraken is looking for a spare. Give Dan a steel armor, that would only weigh him down even more. He couldn't possibly withstand that kind of a burden. Here we go. Kraken is down. But at what cost? Well, level might have been level 50 for a while. We were level 50 for Team Out 1, for both War Mechs, as well as for our Temple of Fiends trip. Alright. I'm going to do the Purple Worm fight here, because I want to have more time to get to the Mazmune and back. Alright, that's a lot of damage. Coming up is Air, Rockall. I guess I want to keep my health up reasonably high here. Especially you can't really do stuff like this on the Whizvamp Zombie D encounter. That would be very dangerous. So let's use the Purple Worm to get back up to full health. Yep, we killed not 1 but 2 War Mechs on the earlier part of the playthrough. The first War Mech, that was a warm-up. The other 2 War Mechs, those were the ones that count. Got 40 heal potions right now, which I want to pretty much have all of those set aside for recovering from Tiamat 2. You don't really need heal potions in the Chaos fight, I think. I'm not expecting that to provide too much value here overall. I am debating on the value of the defense sword in the Chaos fight. Chaos has got stun touch on his physical attack, so I am very worried about getting hit by that. By the time that you're taking the 2 rounds for it to go through, that is a pretty big cost in terms of Chaos getting towards his spell cycle, where you really don't want to see a lot of those spells cast. Alright, there we go, back over 900. Let us continue on our journey to the Mazmune. We're gonna full fight. I am still thinking about doing the double defense at the start. But you can make an argument that it's better to do just the physical attacks as a way to speed that up for getting damage on him before the spells start in earnest. Max airs each time. The most air allowed by law. We got Rockall, a whole bunch of vampire fights, and then a sorcerer battle coming up. Let's see, with this battle here against Rockall's out of the way. None of these are really good for getting my HP back on Whizvamp Zombie D. But I will make an exception here. Alright, Sunsword gone. Masmoon in place. Let's get rid of that Thor Hammer. We're not going to need that. And we're not going to need this Zeus Gauntlet. Inventory nice and tidy now. Behold my beautiful cat claws. I do need some more cat claws. If anybody has a cat claw, let me know if I can get a good price for it. I've got one more vampire fight before the sorcerers. So we're either going to get sorcerers or we are not. It is the next battle here. Why 8 cat claws? Why would you not want to have 8 cat claws? Ah, the sorcerers! Dan, close call. Alright, coming up we have Airworm, another sorcerer pack. Let's get that burned off. We'll do this a little bit more safely. Actually, let me do down here for the air versus the water fight. Then up here to get rid of the purple worm battle. This is the Gershark battle, which will be our second sorcerer fight. We definitely want to skip that. I mean, my original thinking is that if you equip a cat claw on each of Kraken's 8 arms and gave him a steel armor, you would automatically win the fight, because he simply would not be able to attack you. But it turns out, 8 cat claws was not enough. He's got an extra hand that we did not know about. So next time, we are bringing 9. We're gonna get all the way up to full here. I don't trust getting a battle post Tiamat. That is going to be good. We have Air, Rockall, which are probably going to be hit before we reach Tiamat, and then Evil Man, Nightmare after that. Which I guess I could isolate the Nightmare out, and that way there's no danger of the Evil Man using the nukes. But at some point I need to do these heals anyway, so might as well do them now. Does heal staff not check for dead party members? Nope. It does not check for dead party members. It would make it significantly more efficient if it did. How many people potions do I have left? About 40. I think 40 or 41 currently. And you need 33 to get to full health after Tiamat. And so I want to have the ability to say, post Tiamat, so I don't have to do another one of these fights. I need to have the heal potions right then. So I want to go into the Tiamat fight, at least at 33. Hey there, Fred, welcome in. And Sherzad, welcome in as well. Hope you're both having a wonderful Wednesday here. We are hopefully getting close to the end of our solo fighter challenge, but there's no promises. I know that Chaos is going to be super difficult, as well as Dan very likely getting baned right through that ribbon. I have been baned on Tiamat before. I've been rubbed on Carrie. Definitely murdered on Kraken, and even on Lich from doing a double nuke. Gets a nuke and then paralyzes you through a ribbon, and then nukes you again. These are all ways that speedruns have gone down the drain. So I would put nothing past Dan at this stage. Dan just drags all the dead bodies on ropes, soft hands. That's why he's struggling so much to travel around. I offered to get him a little wagon. He didn't want it. He just refused. Let's get the heal here. I will probably get at least one fight on the way to Tiamat. We got Air and Rockgull coming up, which are relatively small damage dealers. They are in smaller formations than a lot of the other monsters, like the vampires. But they can still hit pretty hard, so let's see what happens as we walk over to our Tiamat battle, which pretty much in the normal spot from where I get encounters. I've got to heal up after this, so that's going to be into my budget of heal potions right here. There's 3 of them down. Let's go. So Dan, double defense sword to start. Good first round for that. Dan does not get baned through the ribbon. Even better. Can we get Dan facts? There's a request already for a variety of fact types. Maybe Dan facts will happen at some point as well. But I can definitely make no promises about that. And yeah, we just got Mazmune, and then I went up to safety on the previous floor to get rid of a sorcerer problem. Which was no problem at all. And here we are at the Chaos Battle. Dan in charge of this party, as he was destined to do. And let's go. For all the marbles, it is Chaos time. And I'm going to go double defense. I do want to see the physical attacks here once the defenses go up. And we don't want to see the slow 2s. Alright, he's going skills here so far. Triple skill to start. 250 on the first hit out of 2,000 hit points. Let's call that 500. There's his first spell. Keep with those physicals, Chaos. Oh, that's a big one. 1,000. We are halfway done. 1,500. Dan has suddenly become a master, and he does not get slowed. 1,800. It seems inevitable, as long as we don't get paralyzed, that Dan is going to do it. And yes, Dan has terminated Chaos here. We are victorious in our solo fighter challenge. It was pretty fun. I definitely